let's talk about
All right,
it.
let's talk about it.
You go. It's your story.
Well, this was
Tristan's story.
So this goes
Five-way.
the potential five-way. This goes back to the guy that we talked about in, I believe, episode 17, who we described then as a party in a box, which is, and
But he still is.
we saw him about what, 6 weeks ago, and he still is
2 months ago.
Still is a party in a box. And so this is a guy that just like people gravitate to him. He's an amazing guy. But he like has this like orbit of people that are lifestyle people, vanilla people. You just never can tell. And so
they're all together.
Yeah.
Like even the vanilla people that join him when he's the type that will send out like a group text to like 30 people, and 20 of the 30 will show up.
Yeah.
And 10 are vanilla and 10 are lifestyle, and they all know, and it's totally fine. And everybody just, I mean, it's amazing. He's a neat guy.
Yeah, he's just that kind of person that everybody wants to be around. He's a super, super cool guy. So we were invited to meet him and a bunch of people at the Palm Pavilion in Clearwater Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right around sunset. It was beautiful. And, all these, we all went out, watched sunset. We're drinking, we're eating. And one of the couples that was there was a lifestyle couple. Mm-hmm. And I really, really hit it off with this woman, the woman in the couple. And so much so that like we peeled off and I just talked to her the entire night. And
they are a lovely couple.
Yeah. Super fun.
So fun and nice to talk to.
Yeah. And I really liked her, and I just hit it off with her. And so by the end of the night, we're like openly making out, and it's, whatever non-lifestyle people in this group there were, they kind of figured.
He's party in a box boy. Right. They know, like half of us are going to be making out. I'm halfway making out with him, and he's halfway making out with somebody else. I'm kissing you, and
it's
trying with the other gentleman. And
that's right. I remember.
I did. Yeah. He
was on the fence.
I don't think it was he that was on the fence, my love.
That's right. That's who he was with. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. The husband of this particular couple that you're talking about?
Oh, no. I was talking about another guy.
Oh, no. I thought you meant
there was that other guy that you were making out with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, whatever. It was pretty fluid, in other words.
I forgot about him. Yeah, because nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, the husband of the woman that I was really into, there was nothing.
Well, we tried.
You did try,
we did try. Yeah. We talked a lot because you two were connecting. You may not even know this. We literally did. We talked a lot because we said, wow, they're really hitting it off. And I enjoyed chatting with him, and he enjoyed chatting with me. And then we kissed quite a few times, and then we chatted. There was just no electricity at all. We tried. We really, really tried. And we even said, this will be great. Like, let's hope this like is awesome. And we were both like, yeah, not so much. It was just like nothing when we kissed.
Yeah. And for me, that's the big thing. I mean, when you kiss somebody, it's either there or it's not.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't say no, but it was just like, okay, just, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're more connection people.
Right.
I think than others. And so for me, having that, some kind of a spark, some kind of energy, something is important. Other folks, either way, whatever your dynamic is, it may or may not matter. And sometimes that doesn't even matter too, because I'll be honest, I'll somebody if there's a total physical attraction and there's nothing else, that still works. I also like somebody if there's no physical attraction, but an intellectual attraction, because that still works too.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, in this case,
yeah. But you two hit it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we arranged for that couple and us and Party in a Box to meet at another bar a couple nights later, just the five of us. And the thought was, all right, we'll hang out at the bar a little bit, and then we'll go back to their hotel room and have a five-way.
Right.
And
hubby and I were gonna try it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And our Party in a Box friend was gonna be there too.
Yes.
And so it was just gonna be a lot of fun.
3 and 2 ladies. That was the idea.
That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been.
It would have been. But you kind of pulled up stakes and said, you know what, I'm just not feeling this. And and we both always respect each other's opinions, and if one of us is not into a situation, then we say, you know what, it's we'll pull the plug. But in this case, you said no, you are really into her, so I'll just hang back with Party in a Box. Then you and this couple go back to their hotel room and have a three-way. And I said,
Yeah, we were at the bar at the hotel, by the way.
it wasn't, no,
Yeah.
actually, no, because we got in, he drove my car and his wife and I were in the back seat making out. So we drove to their hotel. The bar was, remember that bar on the water?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, he
And then
drove
we
my
went to
car.
the hotel that they were in had the bar, the other bar.
And then maybe you guys wound up there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we finished up.
Yeah, we waited for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Anyways,
yeah, we hadn't really talked about this in 4 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no audio for this. So this
Right.
is all recollection.
Right.
And we didn't talk before.
It's okay.
We were gonna talk beforehand, but we
No,
didn't.
it's important. I think it's good to relive it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's totally fine. It was, I mean, talk about it in the experience that it was at that point in time. So what happened was the five of us all went. We thought you and I knew that we could have a five-way if we wanted it. I don't think we said it to them that way, but it was pretty obvious because it was me, you, them, and I mean us, them, and Party in a Box.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was pretty obvious, and Party in a Box was all in. He was ready, he was okay with all of that. So, but I don't know, it wasn't necessarily set up that way. And although it had been mentioned, but I'll own it. I mean, I'm okay with that. I kissed the couple, him, and I was not into her at all at this point in time. Don't forget, I was not into any women. And so, or hadn't found any that excited me as much ever. And so, yet. And so I tried to reconnect with the husband, and it was just, there was just no connection, and it's totally fine. He's a super neat guy. There was just no physical attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, I can't do this to Tristan in the middle of the bar when we were supposed to go off to the five-way. But I didn't know until I started kissing him again, and there was definitely no electricity. I really wanted it to happen. Trust me. I really wanted it to happen. Like a lot. Like, yes. Because you and Party in a Box and having a third guy there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So there was just nothing there. And I knew that anything that I did was not, I was just not going to be into it. So it was going to take away from the experience versus even trying to bullshit my way through it. There was just no way that I could bullshit my way through it.
Right. Yeah, completely understandable. And, and as mentioned, certainly at that point, if one of us wasn't in, then, we weren't going to proceed, but you were adamant and said, no, you're into her. So you go.
Yeah.
And you go, the three of you go play. And so at this point, I think that was I had been in multiple MFMs with you.
And you had you had dates. And you had been with Amber, your girlfriend. And
yeah. But I think that this may have been the very first time that I was a third in an MFM. So it was something that I didn't have any experience with. It was a surprise to me. It's certainly at that point not real good with going with the flow and surprises and shifting gears. I'm much better now, but at that time, 4.5 years ago, whenever that was, that kind of threw me for a loop. That here I was expecting this one thing, and then it's something completely different. So that was kind of a shock to my system. What I'm setting up here is it didn't go well, and so all of the reasons. So in thinking about this, what all the reasons, there were so many things that were working against this going well. And, inexperience as being a third, being kind of having this thrown at me. It was March or April of 2019. I think March, everything was blooming. So my allergies were just awful. And I was on this cocktail of allergy medication.
True.
including Sudafed, like from my
which is
post
limp
nasal,
dick.
which
That's
is
Tristan's
not,
limp dick
it's
pill.
not good, not good for your
For
erection.
you, it may be okay for others, but yeah, it's your limp.
Oh gosh, what else? Oh, so many other things. Then once we actually got in there and got going, turns out they had this like huge dominant and submissive power exchange dynamic, which just freaked me out.
We didn't know anything
We
about
had
that.
no clue. And so like she was calling him sir, and I
Yeah.
was so uncomfortable with
That
that.
was not something we knew. We had met the
Yeah.
captain, but that was it. I mean, we were baby stepping into this, into any kind of kink or
Yeah.
dominant submissive thing. So that was so on the other end of the spectrum about anything. We were just learning about how to like fall.
I know. And so like he was holding her arms back behind her and fucking her from behind while holding her arms back and then telling her to, get down on that. And, and so like we were spit roasting her that way. And I was like, ooh, I'm not so sure I like this. And I really didn't. And
how would you like that now?
I still not so much.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, not so much. It's just not my thing. And so, and then certainly, and if it was you, I'd be pissed. There's no way I would.
Well, first of all, I would turn around and cold cock anybody who said that to me. I'd be like, "Fuck you! You get down here on this cock."
That's right.
And so, unless
it was negotiated and I knew it was coming, and that was part of the scene that we had negotiated.
Right. Or unless I'm super turned on, I'd be like, oh. If I do that, then that means okay. If I turn around and cold cock them and say, "You get down on the frick," then that means it's. This is safe word 101. Yeah, if I choke and keep going, then it's okay.
I'm just gonna say, dear, I still don't like you choking on dick. I've seen it, heard it plenty. I still don't like it.
Baby, you gotta trust trust myself. I don't know, whatever.
But
that's you. That's your thing.
No.
That's a whole.
I own that.
Another topic for another episode.
It is. I own that.
Yeah. Your discomfort level with something I like.
Yeah, well, it's my discomfort with you being submissive with other men, because you're not. I mean,
I'm not being submissive. They may think I'm being submissive, but I'm in complete control.
All right.
Always.
All right. Yeah.
But I love that you think that. That means I'm doing a really great job.
Wow, touche.
Yeah, I mean, totally legit. Are you kidding me? I will have to tell you, I will promise you, there is no way on God's green earth that I will ever do anything that I don't want to try, do, or
that I do know.
Yeah. So there you go. So remind yourself of that when you hear me go.
Good point.
If I ever have the pleasure, we'll put it this way: if I ever have the pleasure of doing that with you, and you hear, be honored. So back to our story, because this is going to come up again in the next story. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it now.
Yeah, it's going to take me a second to recover here.
Okay. So, however, you were having a three-way.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, I got to recover here. So yeah, I was having a very mediocre three-way, and so we switched off, and I her from behind. I did not pin her arm back. I let her have full free reign.
That's because you didn't know any differently at that point.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But so I did it from behind. And then so wound up that I was on my back, and she just kind of, blew me to finish me off. And it really was just kind of just to finish me off so we could be done, because
get back to the bar.
We were not having, I mean, it was palpably not good. And we all knew it. So which was a shame, because it does happen, and it would have been so different had it been just the two of us, just me and her.
Yeah.
And who knows whether that was her dynamic. We didn't even explore that, because
I don't think
there was no place.
Right.
No, there wasn't. That was not the place. I mean, there wasn't. That wouldn't have been appropriate to even ask that, to my mind. And so,
because we were planning on.
So you can't go from a 5-way to a 3-way to just a 2-way, and then have a really awkward moment for you and him and Party in the Box sitting around at the bar, because then he'd be all like,
no, Party in the Box and I were like making out of the bar.
Oh no, I'm saying for the hubby to be there too, and like that would have been really awkward. Well, I'm off his wife,
and I'm making out with Party in the Box.
Yeah, and so
Party box and I had a good time.
So it just kind of didn't go well, but there for a variety of reasons,
Yeah.
and so I was struggling physically, with my allergy medications, and then just with the really awkwardness of this DS dynamic that they had, and so whatever it was.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is in that scenario? And I'm being serious. I'm not being shitty. Like that. So you wanted to connect because you really liked her, and there was the possibility of having a great experience, and then their crazy dynamic threw you for a loop. Is there any advice to give for something like that, or just be prepared that people's dynamic might be different, and would there have been questions you could have asked? I don't think there is.
There really isn't. And as I'm thinking, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot you can do. I mean, because they're dynamic. Right. And then that situation was what it wound up being. And just, as alluded to a second ago, I wasn't in any position to say, oh, I want this or I want that. No, I was just along for the ride.
Right.
And
well, you were the manicorn.
Yeah, because I was we still don't know what that actually means, but
well, you were the single dude.
Yeah, it was the same. Yeah, scenario. Exactly. So I'm the invited guest. I'm not in a position to say, well, this isn't going to work for me. That's not my place. My place is to be whatever they need or whatever they want out of an experience. I say this as being on the husband side of this in MFMs all the time. They're there for us.
Right.
We're not there for him. And so in that situation, they weren't there for me. I was there for them. Whatever they wanted out of the situation that was my role.
Right.
And we never talked about any of that because it just never came up. We got in the car. He said, you guys get in the back. We started making out. She went down on me a little in the back of the car. And that was all the conversation there was. Right. So maybe that could have come up in conversation beforehand. But again, I don't know, even to this day, I would have done anything differently.
Right.
And I have more experience now as the third, not a ton, but more.
Well, and that's kind of the point I'm getting at. Not that you would have done anything differently. Is there anything we can help any gentlemen listeners who may find themselves in this particular situation?
When it's that fluid, I don't know that there is. Now, when we talk to single guys, we usually do it, over drinks and dinner, and a lot of these things would come out because we're talking to us as a couple to a guy. And that's not how this went down. This went down as us as couples talking to another couple, and then Party in the Box going to join in also.
Who knew both couples by
exactly. So it wasn't as structured as your typical MFM would have been. Your typical MFM would have been talked about in advance.
Yeah, and the three of you would have planned it.
Yeah, we would have talked about it, and
you did an amazing job. and
for somebody again who certainly at the time was not at all go with the flow and fluid, and I'm much better now, but still, I struggle with shifting gears.
And I think everybody does. And I think that's important to talk about. And that's why we're talking about it, is because that was and it is challenging. And I don't know if that's more challenging for men or for women.
I don't know that it's a gender thing. I think it's more of a personality thing. And for me and my personality, it's difficult to be flexible.
You don't like things to change in midstream.
I don't. Now,
I'm a go with the flow kind of girl. I'm like, okay, whatever, we'll change it, which is so weird. Like
31 years for us next month. Can you honestly say, though, that I'm much more flexible and malleable now at 54 than I was at 23?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.